Yo, welcome to It's Up There podcast. I am your active and attractive host for another episode of the fastest growing podcast on the market right now. I need to give a round of applause for my motherfucking supporters. Without y'all, I wouldn't be who I am, man. I want to send a shout out to all the real ones that's always tapped in with me. I'm sorry this episode is late. I did get sick, man. I was in the hospital, and it be on my mind more than y'all, man, because I've put so much into building this. Losing this is always scary to me. And see, man, that's just so much game right there. Let me tell you guys where to find it. We'll get to that. If you're listening to the audio adventure of this podcast, I need you to head to patreon.com. It's Up There podcast. That's the only way you can support me. All this other stuff is third party. It ain't direct to me. Anything outside of Patreon is you could be considered you cherry picking the game. And I know the real ones don't want to be classified as doing that. At least I don't, because everyone that I support them in a way where I know that money going to them. Right? Nonetheless, FOGFO TV is where you find clips. Let me make the point that I was about to make. I think there's a series of events that occur in this game of life that shapes the human into being what it is. No matter the amount of purpose that you fulfill, no matter how many children, what I'm saying is that's not a number on happiness. It's not a place. It's not a position. It's not a destination. It's not a vacation spot. It's not a big home. It's not a nice car. It's not a big bank account. It's not a healthy family. It's a process. Because what I find the happiness is at first you worry about, say, bro, we got to get us some money. Then when you get the money, it changes to, man, say, bro, we better not lose this money. Now we got to know what to do with the money. Now we got to know how to function with the money. Now they trying to steal the money. Now they trying to sue. Now every time I post this and don't do that, it costs me $5,000. Every time I don't credit the photographer and I run that ad or I run that's potentially a $15,000 hit, right? We just dealing with the game, the business, right? And so when you get money, it puts a whole other list of problems on your plate. You see Kanye West kind of going through that. Now get into what's happening with him, because this will be a short episode because I got to double right back for y'all. But you see Kanye West going through what I would say is, what I would say Kanye West is going through is like a catastrophic curation of the creatives that he looks up to, right? His colleagues and stuff like that. And it's almost like that. Someone like Kanye has to have someone create his pipeline. Unfortunately, for him, and I know we say he's a genius, I believe too that Ye operates on a high level. I'm going to say it's less about him being a genius in these moments that we see him going through right now and more about him always being right, or not always being right, but being able to convince himself that he was right in his decision making. It ain't nothing worse than dealing with somebody who believed themselves in a way where you can't convince them otherwise. And success breeds a certain level of confidence that you can't get nowhere else. You can't even pay for it. Money don't breed the confidence success breeds. It's a very specific confidence that success breeds. Now, take that, magnify that for all these industries that he has navigated in and had some level of success. And he was always told at the front door of these industries that it wouldn't work. So when you tell a man that it wouldn't work and he makes it work on the back end, that's probably, and he does it again. And he slick did it over here. And he slick can contribute this to himself in his mind, no matter the input from the other people. But in his mind, he can say, nah, they said that before. They said that wouldn't work. I done that. So I'm dealing with results. But we'll get into Kanye a little later. You know, I want to really get into everything that he's been through. You know, I want to update you on me, man. I got like, over all my platforms, maybe 20,000 DMs and just messages about like, bro, get better. You know, we waiting on you, whatever the case may be. And I appreciate y'all, man. I don't know, man. It's something. I don't know. I think I'm working myself too hard. I talked to Wallow, you know, a couple people, you know, I spoke to while I was down, you know, just trying to get myself back together and think about how the like, you can't do that. Because when I go down like that costs me 100 hours. I don't have 100 hours. I have to live my life in a way where I can't just waste 100 hours. And that sounds crazy to a person that probably ain't looking at it that way, but that's how my life works. Like, bro, you don't even understand right now. I got so many guests on the schedule for the podcast, and I want to name them so y'all can know, but I've already told y'all we're going to run this game. I'm done telling you. I'm finna show you. I got so many guests, right? And it's just, I got a flight here, I got to book a hotel, I got to book this, do that, right? And so at some point, I'm going to build the business out, and I'm looking to do that now. So if you listen to this, them be the worst times of my life, like when I'm down like that, and a lot of times you feel alone. You be like, damn, you feel this right here feel bad. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I got to get stronger in my mental, because my mental tells me, like, when I get out of it, I always look back at it and say, you got to tell yourself, Loon, it's gonna be a couple of days that's just hell. Like, think about soldiers and shit that's getting sick over in Iraq and still got to be out there on the war field, and it's just I don't know if I'm taking it too far with all that. You know what I'm saying? But it's just how I be thinking. Like, my mind ain't, like, bro, I'm overexposed. I've read too much. I've seen too much. I've been through too much. You know what I'm saying? So I'm overexposed in a way where I can't indulge in life events in a way that maybe a normal person will. I'm always saying, yo, lock the door. Make sure that door locked. Hey, yo, make sure you tell me when you're on your way, man. You can't just pop up. Hey, make sure who made that food? Nah, we ain't eating over there. We ain't eating that. We don't know. Them folk might be trying. I'm always looking at things like that. But let's talk about this. Wallow and Gilly. Shout out to Wallow and Gilly. $1 million worth of game have reportedly signed a new deal. I talked to Wallow. I know I know what's going on. They doing good. I've always championed what those guys brought to the game. Again, I think that media, with this podcast stuff, and again, I'm not as critical of media as people think I am. I'm just claiming my space, and I'm making it clear, right? I'm creating separation. And you know what I'm saying? I'm prepared business-wise. I know exactly what I'm doing. So I'm creating separation in regards to the understanding of what I bring to this game that's oversaturated. That's why I got to applaud Wallow and Gilly, because I've always said, what you going to do when it's crowded in the paint? I do not applaud you. It wasn't before podcasts out when you got. I take that back, because when I say that, that's me on people like Elliott Wilson when I can't do that. Combat Jack when I can't do that. Charlemagne the God when I can't do that. You understand? So I want to be clear on that, because even when I think about Elliott Wilson and RIP Combat Jack, Chris Monroe, shout out Chris. Even when I think about those guys that kind of was at the forefront of it when it first started, that even then was a different listener. That's a different customer than what we're serving today. What's happened is blogs have now shaped the podcast listener. Lucky for me, I come from the culture, so I know how to talk right in between that. I'm the first dude that made podcasting cool, in my opinion. So while blogging has infiltrated podcasting, if you pay attention, a lot of the bloggers are more famous than the podcasters. But there's more money in podcasting than it is blogging. Pay attention. I'm putting game down. I don't take notes. I'm just talking to my people. I'm just trying to put some game down. Just let me know if you're keeping up. Let me just give you an example of what you'll see. You'll see a podcaster get on an interview and act like a blogger and ask like certain like clickbaity questions to try to get the blog shine off, because I'm trying to work the YouTube algorithm. Me, Loon, we have conversation on my side. We have pure conversation. We ain't doing all that. Just nothing but conversation. You know what I'm saying? And if we can do that, we're going to be all right. But these other people, I just want you to understand why the technique is how it is. So with Elliott Wilson and Combat Jack, they served a totally different customer. The customer back then that wanted podcasts was there for long form. Usually, bro, if you got a 2-3 hour podcast, respectfully, they not listening to all. I don't care who's on it. You might get a 40% chance of maybe 40%, and then you got to be the man for that. Rogan probably get 70, 80% because he's built his fan base in the way that I'm building mine. But what I'm trying to get you guys to understand is that the blog approach has now infiltrated podcasting. So Elliott Wilson, them, I can't be talking about them. I'm talking about the guys who have came into podcasting in the last 5 years, last 7, 8 years, who has had an audience and hadn't transitioned it. When you look at 85 South Show, look at what they do with their merch. Look at what they do on the road. Like I was telling the other comics, and when I had a conversation with Schultz, I'm gonna see if we can dive deep on that. Look at what they doing. Look at what Schultz doing with his audience, right? Look at what even Rory and Mal. Look what EYL doing. Look what I'm Athlete doing with the audience, right? So the audience, look what is doing with it. A lot of y'all just sitting on the audience, twitching for free. And respectfully to academics, I didn't even make this point last week, and somebody can stop me when I'm lying. Academics had a deal with Twitch to do that, right? You know what Twitch told themselves? Oh, he'll sit over here drunk and do that for free. Stop paying him. Send that budget to somebody else. That's not, they thought that was a business for him. They thought that, this is a character. He's playing this little, that's what he gonna do if y'all pay him or not. So why pay him? But when you look at business, dog, and you don't have any ancillary income, you don't have any way to make money outside of your face being on camera, it tells me you don't have a business plan. If you don't have a business plan, you can't. I heard Keys say this. You don't by coincidence rule the world. There's no way for you to just luck up and run up on 500 million. Boy, this is a process, strategic movement. This is a tight rope. You know how many people try to get this? This is a tight rope. Ain't it spooky hours? And so Wallow and Gilly them sign a new deal with Barstool Sports. Again, Barstool has creatively supported. Again, that's another thing happening in podcasts. And I hear a lot of podcasters speak about they've took the money out of podcasts. And they have in certain instances. A lot of times they want to participate and just say, let's work together and hope we make some money. And I'm like, I'm not sure any other business does that, right? We need to creatively support it. We see the business model. Wallow and Gilly, look at it. We need to creatively support it. Like soon as they pop out with Barstool, pay attention. And when I get them on the show, we'll speak about it. And I'm just assuming, because just by trying to take the game in from the outside. But when they did the Barstool thing, you seen a couple of different things happen. You started to see they went and got a building or studio, a house, a creative house, right? That's in business expense. You start to see, more merch, more this, more. You start to see ads. You start to see, right? But you see the right people sitting next to them. But when you look at $1 million worth of game, I like what they bring to the game. Like, I think the conversations are cool. You get laughed out of it. You get entertainment out of it. Like, I think the show is a great show. I don't see them fumbling that unless Wallow and Gilly them. I just don't see them fumbling that. And this is about longevity. A 5-year run don't mean shit 20 years from now. Let me say that again for the people in the back that's hot right now. A 5-year run don't mean shit 20, 30 years from now. So you got to really, really be building to sustain, my nigga. Some of these people that's been doing it 30 years, they can ignore you for 5 years and hope you disappear while you on the run of your life. That's why I always tell rappers, put something in your hand, put a product in your hand. Put some people on too now. And don't just put all rappers on. Put people that's going to strengthen you in other areas on. Because media controls narrative. And I didn't say they lie about the circumstances. I said they control narrative. I've seen it where they've had 4 or 5 different ways they can approach one topic. It's high-level games going on, man. But I wanted to spend some time and say congratulations to Wallow and Gilly. I see that a lot of people are under their posts, but people don't really report on these things. I don't know if I'm doing something odd by reporting on the wins and not just all the bullshit or what, but I try to report on the culture getting whatever kind of wins. And when I talk about things, it really be from a information perspective. If you've been listening to me, you know I'm all about information. Information and don't go in the trick bag. Let's speak about this. Kanye West has been online for the last couple of days doing some things and having some remarks that's considered anti-Semitic. Of course, on this side, we don't support black people being targeted or a part of anti-Semitic behavior. And let's be clear that we don't leave one of those parts out, because I see every time we take that message and we amplify it, everybody take black out of it. For some reason, we can't keep black in it when they go to talking about it on the main stage. As always, first we talk about how anti-Semitic something was, but they won't put black in there. He shouldn't have done that to black folk either. You know, but we try to stand by our brother Kanye as he's making this one of the more confusing things that we had to deal with in his timeline of career. It's been so much has happened since I've been in the hospital. I can't even tell you everything that happened. What I'm going to do is show you a timeline of what has happened, and we'll come back with some information.
Sportswear giant Adidas announced this morning that it's ending its partnership with Kanye West in the face of growing pressure.
The rapper, who now goes by Ye, was recently dropped by his talent agency, CAA, after making a series of hateful and threatening remarks, including that he would go, quote, DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. That comment is a reference to U.S. military readiness, and it got him suspended from Twitter. Media group MRC said yesterday it would shelve a documentary it had already finished about Ye. The attention turned to Adidas after this video of Ye racked up more than 4 million views a few days ago. Take a look.
I could literally say anti-Semitic and they can't drop me. I could say anti-Semitic things and Adidas can't drop me. Now what?
So you heard him say, I didn't get that. And this is what I mean about Loon. Loon always looking for information. So I be like, hold on. I'm dealing with somebody that's done a lot of things in this world. I know he done f***ed off and been hit with the I've been right before syndrome. And boy, if it's as humans, if we don't shake it, boy, we for sure gonna get in some trouble. But I also know he compounds that with hurt. And he compounds that with insecurity, plus confidence, plus disappointment, plus success. Like, he got a lot of shit going on behind them eyeballs. He got a lot of shit going on behind them eyeballs. So when he goes on Drink Champs, and, you know, a lot of people were critical of Nori for doing this. I don't understand. Shout out to Nori, you know. I don't understand why we would. This interview here, you don't drink. But that's why, you know, and at some point we would have, bro, I got so many ideas for the pod, so I ain't even going to say what's going to happen next. As black people, I think we have some kind of syndrome or some kind of trauma we battling with, where it's like, out of respect for you, I ain't going to change the circumstances for you. We drink here, so if you come here, bro, we still going to drink. We ain't going to make it uptight. We ain't going to make you uncomfortable now. Out of respect for you, I'm going to place you in a situation where you can say what you mean, and I can hold you accountable in that moment to try to really learn from this and not make these kind of mistakes. I couldn't have it on my conscience that, you know, you put yourself in a situation to lose everything you worked for if that's what you look at this as. Because, again, you can view Kanye and say, I don't see how a man wants to put himself in a deficit that he may not come back from. So you see me try to flirt with the ideas. Is he trying to get out these deals? Is this some kind of trick he trying to run? Or is he done winning the trick bag? You see me try to battle through that because I say, damn, you put yourself in a deficit. And here's the trick. You put yourself in a deficit that no one has been in before, so we have no information on. So everything you did right prior to that may not work headed into here, because now they pull out, they reveal another layer. Because we are dealing with a guy that we have made a billionaire that's now switched sides. So now we got a playbook for that too. Ain't nobody seen it though. So now, Kanye, if you are the one that ends up, they bog you back down to 150 million some kind of way and try to X you out and keep you out of everything some kind of way. I don't know how they would do that, but I'm just flirting with this because I have a podcast. But say they try to bog you down like that and they kind of kill your credibility and image in the public based on things you said until you relinquish your power. Because again, everything is a system. I keep telling people. So when you pay attention to having real money, you got to hide your money. You hide your money on the stock market and real estate and in assets, in business assets and things like that. So you'll see somebody be saying, you know, I'm worth $11 billion, $8 billion, $6 billion. It's like the streets be thinking that that's what they got, because in the streets, what we say we worth is what's up under the mattress. Now, I'm up on 500 though, bro. Now, I got 500. If I was a businessman, I'll be saying, damn, I'm playing with 500, but I'm making 50, 60K a week. So out of that 50, 60K, I got a $9,000 profit. So 9,000 a week for over 52 weeks is it? So I'm really worth such and such million a year. It's how businessmen supposed to look at that. But street right now, I'm playing with 500. So a lot of times, the regular person, not even street person, I'm going to stop even talking like that, because that's going to help them to try to marginalize me when I'm dealing with more information than a street nigga. So I got to be clear that I'm not just a street, right? But I want the street to know that this is possible. I'm activating street niggas with this. Trust me. And so your net worth is an evaluation of the things you have. The money you have is accounted for in that as well. But oftentimes, the actual cash that you have is a very small percentage of your net worth. Again, the way the system is set up is it calls for you to either spend the money or pay it in taxes. And so what they find themselves doing is spending it. When you're spending it, you create company assets. Now, here's the trick with Kanye. All his assets were tied into his deals and the stocks of the companies his deals were with. So when he would go and talk to Jay or talk to Diddy, when Diddy might say, yo, you got $6 billion on paper, but I can go grab $500 million right now, you know, or something wild. So a lot of these guys that have a certain net worth, but it'd be a lot of these other guys that got more money than them. You see how that don't make sense? It don't sound like it makes sense, but it makes sense because of the way the system is. It was always interesting to me that he had an asset-based net worth attached to the stock market of the clothing brand that he is associated with, which means that if that brand crashes, all those stocks are worth nothing. Now, you would say the brand won't crash because it's someone like Adidas or Gap that had a certain level of infrastructure. But when he said that I could say anti-Semitic shit and they can't drop me. And he went to looking around, and it's like, oh yeah, he in La La Land. Nah, he done clocked out. What was that? I would have said, like, bro, I'm saying, like, I know you getting your Will Smith on, but do you still remember what's at stake? But again, something is not sounding right. And the only reason why I'm saying I still can't say that I'm not sure what's happening is because he's yet to panic. And boy, when they take that status from a nigga that's been standing on status all goddamn day, that's a powerful thing. But I noticed even with him, he know where to stand on status at. And I'll have a conversation with Kanye and we can speak about it. Because when he talk to us, he tell all the black people shut the fuck up. He make more money than them. All the rappers, not black people. Let's be clear. But he tell the rappers, I made more than you, shut up. But when he talk to Piers Morgan or one of those other guys, you know, he says, well, I don't have, you know, money isn't everything. Only got about $130 million. And he kind of downplays it. But I think he understands how we look at money. That don't make it right. I'm explaining what the circumstances are. Let's listen to a little more what happened.
New this morning, Adidas has now officially severed ties with Kanye West, who of course legally changed his name to Ye. The German sportswear company is the latest brand to distance itself from him after a series of offensive anti-Semitic comments in recent days. Let's get a closer look at where things stand this morning. CNN chief business correspondent Christine Romans and CNN senior media reporter Oliver Darcy are here. So Christine, one of the things that was interesting is we have heard calls for days. Yeah. It was, I believe, last Thursday that the ADL came out and said, hey, Adidas, where are you in the wake of these comments? Because after he wore that White Lives Matter t-shirt, it was only a couple of days before they said, we're reviewing the partnership.
A long-term partnership between the two, going back all the way to 2013. And Kanye West, I mean, he is a billionaire, according to Forbes, in part because of the tennis shoes that he sells that are with Adidas, this partnership. This is what Adidas is saying about terminating the partnership immediately now. Adidas does not tolerate anti-Semitism and any other sort of hate speech. His recent comments and actions have been unacceptable, hateful, and dangerous, and they violate the company's company's values of diversity and inclusion, mutual respect, and fairness. The company goes on in this press release to say this will hurt the company financially. They know they're going to take a hit. That hit is going to be about $246 million in the company's net income in 2022 because they do have such a deep partnership with him. No word if they're going to pull the products. I think that's interesting as well. And you know that he's had a sort of a divorce, a messy breakup from Gap as well over, they say, you know, differences in management opinions.
Again, this is what makes it feel orchestrated. It's because he went on, like, he did like 15 interviews. So it's almost like I want them to do something. It's almost like I'm trying to get these people to do something. It almost feels like that. But it's like, I need people to understand how dangerous that is. Not that it ain't cool, because if you feel like bucking, I say buck. But here's the problem. We don't have the information on the bucking nigga. Because once a nigga get a billion, he don't buck. And bucking don't necessarily mean saying something that's anti-Semitic. I don't support that in any way. I don't support us being treated the way we've been treated. So I don't try to propagate hate on any level. I respond to people who don't understand my circumstances and the black plight. And sometimes my passionate expression may come off as violent in nature, but you couldn't be more wrong than that. I just don't see yourself putting yourself in a hole like that. Because even as smart as you are, can you run another billion up? I was looking into this. They still got the patents. What can he really do with this? And again, he doesn't know because niggas don't buck. When them people tell a black man to get in line, he get in line because he got so many people depending on him. It's so much riding on it. He really can't do that. That's how you know Kanye done detached from damn near everything. Look, man, I built Kim up. All my kids, they good. If I crash it out, this is what it feels like. So for those in your generation who have never seen someone do something that offends a lot of people or offends people who are in position to respond in the consumer market, then Kanye West is about to come back to the black community with the receipt of what it looks like when a black man go get $1 billion, buck the system, really make a dumb decision if you ask me, unless it's part of some plan, and I can't tell you that now. That has to wait till I can see on the back end. But go that far with it, crash the whip, and come back with the receipt. Bro, this is what they'll try to do if they cancel us. At the highest level, this is what they do, bro. Passing it down. So the new question then becomes, do you still have the creative juices you had at 32, at 34, when you was solely focused on music, when you were making those classics? Can you do this again? With all these different things happening and all this noise, can you do this again? The new question is, can you recreate the environment that made you create the billionaire that you were when you tied yourself into those deals that you weren't satisfied with? Because now you got to create that same force, but do it the way you wanted to do it. It's already hard doing it once. I want to see somebody got to let me know. That's why I see people say, get it while it's coming. Because as much as you want to believe, now I can turn this on and off when I want to. Nah. Yeah, they offer me $10 million. I can get $10 million at any time. Just hold up. Tell them hold up with that. I can get $10 million. Nah, you better get it while they're getting good. Because when they shut the lights off, when it starts slowing down, you can do anything to try to get that train back rolling. Y'all cut that motherfucker, get this shit. It ain't going. It done start. It's your turn to slow down now. See, now you got to start picking shit up now. The problem is people want to operate in the same way, whether they going fast or they going slow. When their career is at the all-time high, they take a snapshot of the lifestyle. And then when it runs down, this is how they go broke. What happens is you create your lifestyle off of when you're making your most money. And then as you go down, you try to maintain that. You're chasing the lifestyle. You're chasing the lifestyle. You don't supposed to do that. But can Kanye West maintain it now? Does he have the skill set at this point in his life to get back on his feet and make that work? By me not knowing if it's orchestrated or not, I can't call it spiraling. I know that's what it looks like, But I know I pulled some mean moves out of my bag before. I remember I popped that knife over there and was acting scared. Man, come on, why y'all doing all that, man? Y'all tripping, man. Y'all gonna do it like that, man? Because I knew that if they thought I was scared, get what they gonna do. They coming. They smell blood. Come in here with all you got so you can come up missing something. Come on in here. Fire. He come up bleeding. He come up bleeding. That's one gone. And once they see their partner, ain't nobody else doing nothing. They getting out of there. But you play scared. Oh, man, nah, don't do me like that. He get close. He don't know. I'm prepared like a... Oh, man, don't do it like that, family. Oh, Lord. He don't know. I'm prepared like a motherfucker. Just get a little closer. I'm going to break your nose. But West went on to Drink Champs. Let's listen to a little bit of the rhetoric.
Y'all are not helping, but it's like a video game of life. You know, we all gonna get free eventually. And like you see, I got love for everybody, right, but it's no love if somebody's fucking with me. Right. I'm like, I really don't wish harm on nobody. Right. But I do realize that I can make people jealous, right, by like flexing so hard, and that's gonna come with it. You know what I'm saying? It's because me and Cons would be in the studio, and we would make songs and be like, yo, we want to make niggas mad. We want to make niggas mad with the music. Like, if it don't hurt. Like, if it don't, it can't just compete. It has to hurt. We not just, that's the reason why I'm not washed, because I still make it hurt, you know? So, and then it comes out and it hurt, and people be hurt about it. And then I be halfway acting like I don't know why they hurt. They hurt because you hurt them. This hurts. You know what I'm saying? Sleeping in a stadium hurts. Yeah. All like, you know, throwing Balenciaga Couture on the floor, it hurts.
And let me say this, because as he's talking, my mind is going. And I'm going to have to call some of my partners with real paper and ask them this. What really changes in those instances? Like, if you do go from $1 billion to $500 million with an established lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't lose your homes, you don't lose your cars, you don't lose your, like, you lose your status. How important is that status to the billionaire? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think life changes. Even though they say he's no longer a billionaire, man, I got all the same houses. Like, they say my records ain't selling, man, I got the same everything. I'm doing well. And that money I'm missing on record sales, I'm selling that in water now. Because, nigga, when I was selling plenty record sales, I ran around with water on me. Talk to me, nigga. Yeah, I'm a manager, man. Y'all hit me up, let's get this together now. It's money to be made. Y'all ain't got to do nothing. Just let me, I'll run with you for 6 months, nigga, and we'll make $2 million. Just let me have some kind of, man, problem solving skills, man. But does anything really change if you go from 1 billion to 400 or 6 billion to 400 with an established lifestyle? That's the trick. Now, it's a difference if someone say, hey, I'm about to give you $6 billion. You know what? Never mind. We don't like you no more. We're going to give you 400 million. Now, that's a different lifestyle that you're going to have. But once you already established a billionaire lifestyle, I'm not sure how much effect that has. And no one said that. And I'm going to have to create that conversation with some of the other voices in the culture so we can kind of elaborate on that.
Yo, Drake, because this is my number, you know, it's like if we're going to put our album out, you got to go after the number one artist.
Which was Rory at the time?
Which was Drake.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We're going to do Close. We're going to look at Supreme.
Right.
We're going to look at Balenciaga. We're going to look at Ralph. Are we looking at these raps?
Right.
You know, we're gonna look at Drake. You know what I'm saying? We're looking at stadiums.
Right.
We're gonna look at Bad Bunny. We got to look at everything that's really happening. We're gonna look at money. We're gonna look at Elon. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna look at the Saudis. Right. That's how I look at everything.
That's a widespread view of everything.
You know what I'm saying? It's like everything has to be.
Pay attention to that Saudis comment. I think that was a really important moment. And I didn't even know that was coming. I haven't watched that whole thing. I don't have 4 hours to give Ye for all that stuff, right? But the Saudi thing is important because they'll do business with him. See, everybody, I learned this in the street. Everybody got an enemy. They talking about banning me from somewhere. If you got a ban me type mentality, you done hurt somebody around there. So a lot of times a nigga say this gang don't like them, so I plug in with the gang that don't like them, and they defense is already natural against you, nigga. So we push up with them, strengthen them a little bit more, and push up with them. What we doing? Cause they gonna kill you bout them. I'm just happen to be there.
Apple, level.
Because we heard you was building your own Yay community. Is that still
Yay immunity?
Yay immunity.
Unity. This is one of my issues that I have because I've been building. I've invested like over $150 million in 10 years of research into simplifying our communities because there are no not just because there are no black-owned communities, but just me as a black person, that's who I am in this video game of life. I'm the type of person that's like, yo, we are one species, right? We're one being.
That's it, but it don't count.
Yeah, he was.
It don't count. I'm sorry. It's drink chance. What's all?
He was not drinking that. See, because he's not there for that. He there to have a conversation.
Oh, that's good, right?
It's not Tucker Carlson. It's not Good Morning America.
Oh, you said his name right this time.
I said it right. You is back in the culture, and guess what? Welcome back, baby.
Welcome back.
In a weird way, let me address this. And again, it's important for me to just provide context. In a weird way, I think he hated that part. As much as we think he might have, as much as people probably think he respected that, I think he hated that. Because when you hear him talk, he talk about what black people own. Like, he be kind of hard on, like, what do you mean? Because we drinking, this is the culture? Nah, because we chopping game, this is the culture. Now, this is the culture where we come put game down, high information, conversation, love. You understand? Understanding, creating understanding, whatever it might be, but and drinking sometime too. Ain't no cap in it. And ain't no 10 on it. Like, we do the drinking thing, we do drugs, loud music, we do all that too, but this wasn't really the time for that. And I think even him in that moment knew, I don't think this the time for this, but that's why he wasn't drinking.
Influencers are like from Atlanta and stuff, so that's that thing where people talking about you without you in the room. That's the thing when we sign and do these licensing deals.
You're a brand though. Yeah, they supposed to talk about you a lot when you're not in the room.
Yeah, but that's when you sign to them. They're seeing how they're gonna use you.
So this is all right. Break it down in like simplest form for record. You wasn't signed to them. This was a distribution deal. This was
it was like a licensing deal. Okay. And the funny thing is, they think they could give me a baby B, and the baby B. It's a billion, yeah, but it's like a little baby billion. It's like a little billion. It's like a little billion. It's a baby B.
Okay, so okay. What I think I'm saying is he doesn't like his deals. When I'm looking at this, it's like, all right, so maybe I'm seeing kind of what's happening because he's looking like they want to give me $1 billion and all of this, and I know what they making. I know it ain't good, and they knocking it off. I'm telling them to put stores here, and I've been right before. I'm going to keep telling you about that because, again, I still believe that it goes back to that. Yo, I've been right before, man. It's hard to fuck with a nigga been right before.
Yeah, that's above my pay grade. You said a baby B. No, I don't know what that is yet. I'm sorry. If you don't want it, we'll take the baby B.
Yeah, but they think they could just like run us with a baby B, little baby B. And the funny thing is, they'll give me that, and I'm making, more money than anybody that works at the Gap. But you want the information. It's like a friend that caught your girl cheating, right? How much is it worth to have the actual information? And then he said it, but then she's lying, right? So if you actually had something on camera or a phone or a text or a screen grab, what would that be worth to you? Let's say you bought a car or something like that. Wouldn't it be worth 2 cars just to have that text? Just to have it? I remember I found out some information one time. It was on the Super Bowl. I literally found it at the time when Tom Brady was throwing a touchdown. The audience was going like this. I was going like this. Yeah, I caught you now. You was lying the whole time. Like,
I'm talking about inflation.
What'd you say?
The inflation when the ball was.
No, not the inflation.
He missing it.
This is a later date and shit.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is,
Man, that's good game.
information is the.
Hold on. Yo, that was loaded. They missed that. So they missed that. I didn't even, like, I haven't saw this. So let me kind of put in context what I think I'm hearing. So he's saying, like, hey, they are in a situation to tell me something about how much money or what's happening with this brand. Some information is lost in translation, but they're trying to blackmail me for the information. Give us a little more rights, we'll give you a little more information. This is what I'm interpreting, and I could be wrong, but because I have a podcast, I have to dive into these things. And so he speaks about being at the game, Super Bowl, and figuring out, damn, they go that information show they was lying. Got you. Was lying about such and such and such and such. Because again, at this high level, ask Jay-Z what he going through with Bacardi right now. Yo, this high level business is different, bro. That's why you gotta have a team. I don't give a damn how smart you think you is, bro. It's shit baked into this shit. Like, even when you talk about a term that's a defense readiness term, that don't even supposed to be in the same. To me, that just sounds funny. Defense readiness. Like, how can you be defending but be ready? It's like, it's a weird place. It's like whoever uses it, it might mean different things. And that gray area is how all high-level business operates. All of it. And you talk about billions, ain't no telling what's happening.
Most important resource to our species above water, because with information you can find water. So Jewish people have information, Chinese people, it's not even information, it's intelligence, right? Because what is the definition of the word nigga? Ignorant. So it's intelligence. So you see a human being that can be looked at or classified as a nigga that is cocooning or breaking out of a cocoon into intelligence and bringing all of his with him at the same time. And that is the way that we're going to get free and come into our own power the way the Jewish people came into their power.
And so again, I just was making this point. Maybe he's going far as he can go and come back with the receipt. This is what they do. This is what I found out going up to that level. I got all the information I could. This is probably the highest you can go. Let's figure out if we can build something off that. I built all my family up around me. So in that case, if I crash my whip, they gonna be all right. Nigga, that's the Kardashians and all they. So I'm gonna be tied to some money and Jay, my people, and man, I'm gonna be all right. So now I went and got some information, and if he's doing that, which we will not know based on what he's saying, it has to play out, right? So I'm trying to understand the information, but I'm not lending that much understanding to what I can't see.
Misinformation, which is more of
misinformation, like trauma economy, like the BLM. You know what I'm saying? When they do BLM, when they do school shootings, the same amount of people getting killed every week in Chicago, but they're not posting that. They're not showing that.
But why you not posting that? Because you from Chicago. Barack Obama's from Chicago.
He from Hawaii.
Discrepancy with Adidas.
You know, I just didn't have the relationships with the factories at that time, and I was managing a lot of ideas. Like I was a new dad. I was newly married. I had a bunch of team, like a big team of designers with me, and we hadn't established who we were. We were still fighting to get our respect in fashion. So there's a lot of fights at the same time. So we had to go and basically like intern almost up under these companies.
Because you interned for Louis Vuitton at one time, right? Okay.
Louis Vuitton, Fendi, and we interned in a way.
Yo, I didn't see this interview, but and let me be clear to my supporters, business partners, and everyone abroad and within the sound of my voice. Loon doesn't support black people being treated the way they've been treated, and I don't support anti-Semitic remarks. I'm dealing with information, and for my people, I got to be able to do that and be allowed to runway. I think I'm pretty okay with words to be able to articulate in a way where I'm not offensive to anyone. It hurts me that I got to even address that, but I'm dealing with a lot of money and a high company evaluation, and I'm not going in the trick bag. I understand what I'm here for, and I'm here to do the things that I was called for.
at Adidas. I like the licensing deal as my intern to become, you know, more in that Bernard Arnault, Bezos, Elon territory, and just understanding how to, you know, how money works. Like this is first generation. Like we can say, like look at like Jay with the Duce. This is first generation of wealth.
And learn those infrastructures, right?
Yeah, the infrastructure is how to do a factory. Even right now.
And so as I look at that, because again, I'm not going to watch a guy with billions of dollars online sit and drink and talk about those things without me really understanding if this is orchestrated. And I have no way to understand that. So I didn't watch that whole thing before it was pulled. For those of you unaware, that interview was pulled because it received a large amount of backlash from my Revolt family. So they ended up pulling that video. Again, I think he's exposing the cancel culture algorithm. He's just doing it. It's costing him a lot to do it. A lot to do it. It's costing him a lot it's costing him a lot to expose whatever he thinks he's exposing.
Hey, it's your boy Loon from It's Up There Podcast. Thank you for watching the video you just watched, and make sure you subscribe by hitting the button you see on the screen, or go to the next video by hitting this right here you see on the screen. Big It's Up There Podcast.